Then I start Twitches. I need to open up Twitch. Twitching. Here. Problem is you can't really integrate Twitch and YouTube Live into OBS in like this way. You can't. No, I am. So I can do both. Like I'm live in both right now. I can use OBS to go live on Twitch, but I have to keep Twitch chat window in a separate window. And then I will just open this up on my phone. You. Okay, but that works. There.
Onward.
I'm officially live. Everything should be working. You. Usually what I'll do is I'll this daily log that I start the stream today's day. I'll list out prior day accomplishments. Go on relaunch Notion because this updates quite often. Day accomplishments. So yesterday. Yesterday I got quite a bit done. The dynamically dialogic. It's an add-on my dialogue. Dynamically implemented dialogic pickups. Improved inheritance. Code very modular.
Everybody else. Know all these.
Things I've mentioned so far are code specific. So I mean, if you have some understanding, I guess.
Like,
if you have some knowledge of programming, you should. It's pretty easy to understand. The other big thing is I have a basic equipment mechanic. I can cycle between my flute and my sword. Just one way to do it, but works. And then what I'll do is I'll list out some of the goals I have today, specifically. Like to try and fix flute bugs, specifically using the item random by random. That's the other issue.
the click to.
Oh. Specifically a lad, specifically item. So item pickup player should not
What's the other?
Oh, I remember it was a spammer. That's what it was. Player can currently spam click ability construct immediately. This one specifically, I think the fix would be to wait. Wait for the dim signal. Item pickup, player should not move until confirm. The timer, so I have so the way the light works, I can show you. I have item behavior. So the Firefly has two abilities: a glow up and a glow down. Glow up has its glow up moment where what happens is the glow up function, a timer starts. Right, so once this function gets called, timer starts, and it's set to 3 seconds, I believe. 3 and 1. Once the timer starts, this happens right after the timer starts. It creates the glow effect. That's what these 3 lines of code do, right? It just makes all it does is it increases the energy of the light and it increases the radius. Right? That's all this really does, and it does it in a tween, so it does it nice and. So that's what the issue is, or what's happening is I need to wait until the glow down, or until I need to wait until this, I think it's this one. Yeah, I need to wait until this function, it's called a signal, finishes. I think there's an await. I don't know how to quite use it yet. There's an await keyword, which I think will play into it. I'm just not entirely sure. I need to look at the documentation, figure it out. So that's that. So those are the two major. There's like 3 major bugs I would like to look into. I'd also like to get spouse opinion on elements. Get ideas.
Oh no!
So make you get involved. I would also, what was the other thing? Sword mechanic. Get spouse opinion on your elements. Get ideas. I'd also like to set up basic UI, whip, and HP, which I kind of already have in place.
Will I fix my trees eventually?
Oh, you want to fix those real quick?
No, I don't have to be real quick.
Fix 3. Still a mute button. Off. Let me know when I'll touch you. I usually don't get all these things done. I'll doubt I'll get all these done. I doubt we'll get all. There you go. And then once I have my prior day accomplishments, dues, I start. So I think let's start with UI actually. Change my mind. Well, let me just show you my thoughts right now, okay? And it's very basic. So right now, these 2 squares are currently all I have for UI. Very, very nice, but it's set up in a nice way so it follows this player, it follows the screen, right? So they are above all the other layers. The very basic idea that I had is obviously this one's a lot brighter than this one. So obviously one will, so there's going to be, let me show you something real quick. So basically, the idea, I was working on this last night. Lord, where's this the equip? No. Save that, it should set it right. So that's what it looked like. That's all too small right now, but
Okay.
the idea is obviously if I pick up the sword, it'll populate into one of these boxes. Right, and then if I cycle through 1 and 2, 1 will be like the sword will be in 1, and then loot will be in 2. If I press 2, the highlighted box will appear on 2, and then this one will go back. Does that make sense?
I think so.
It's very basic. It's very simple.
I mean, have you already put? You already put something, but it has to be.
So I can change all that. I'm doing 1 and 2 right now because it's like it's the quickest way to implement it. I can adjust the like I can set it to scroll or at a later time later on. Right? I'm just doing 1 and 2 right now because it's quick to implement. I can do scrolling later. It's just I just think scrolling functionality will be a bit more convoluted. I think it takes a lot more extra steps. This one just makes more sense in my brain. So that's just what I'm rolling with right now. Obviously, I can do like a scroll thing where this will scroll through all the top items. Um, Another thing I'll have to eventually do is dynamically add these boxes, meaning if I don't have any items in my inventory, there should be no boxes. There shouldn't just be a bunch of empty boxes. Maybe there should. But what I could do is every time I pick up an item, it'll just pick up. It'll dynamically create a new box for that. If that makes sense. Now, obviously, this looks very basic. A square. I probably increase the size from small. Here it is it? Try 56. That's not 86. There we go. That's what I want. This one's currently set to. Are they?
60. Huh?
You better just. So I'm using what's called a 9-patch rect. And rectangle. Happening.
What?
You can't find the same one. Oh, there it is. Scroll. Oops. This is the item box basically. That was a really hacky way to do it. I don't know. A little better though.
Okay.
Make what transparent? These?
Mhm.
You can do whatever you want. These are just images. Well, you think making them transparent would look good? Kind of like Barry has them transparent, doesn't
I think most places that have
it? Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily, because you play this on a opera.
Mm.
So I was thinking still like a slow. Because right now both of those are brown. But it's
I do other games too, so I think Terraria has. The store page is taking. So they just do. Mm,
I don't know, maybe that's just realistic
mm,
standpoint. But I don't know. But it's
um, yeah, maybe a little bit. I guess part of me wonders if you want it to though. It's like
no.
you don't. You don't think you want that because
No.
you need like seeing your HUD is an important thing.
Right, but
You want that to be noticeable, right? You don't want
you
that to
want
be.
them to be able to look, all right, too. Oh
Mm,
yes, it's in 4. Like people have something equipped, they're gonna be there to double check it, but no one needs the this is everything you have. Like you want focusing on what's
mm.
happening. Especially right now. Want them want them to I have my sword equipped.
Do you feel
It
that
just should feel
with it being light like this? Do you feel the same? Do you still feel like it pulls at you too much?
not as much.
It
It's a
definitely with the
little
dark.
for me
Mm,
with the I like you saw with True.
bright yellow.
Yeah, like they're or no, it gets big. In one of them um
You mean for
right
the equip? Because with the equip, I think it just gets slightly bigger.
like you have all these little accent pieces, the middle of the flowers, the noticeable color. And it's like if you were doing like a side right or like fall or something this way, go this way, like you can directional if it's literally if it's just reminding you of what you that feels like it's
Mm,
I don't know.
that makes sense. That remind me though. I need to. You mentioned something about the levels. I actually need to fix. Um, I broke. So yesterday, I started the process of creating a main scene that handles everything. So a common thing apparently is you have like a main scene. Scenes, so scenes in Godot are like objects, just things. Everything in Godot is a scene, right? I have, for example, this is the main town, obviously. So every single thing here is a scene. I have a main scene. I have like a map scene. These are all the layer scenes. Obviously, there's a player scene, which is just this is just a scene made of a bunch of other. I guess it's scenes and nodes. Probably clarify that.
I don't get what.
Object is a thing. A scene is a thing typically comprised of nodes. Small scenes. Thing. Like just actionable things.
Sequence of sorts or what?
No. Wait. Show you the player. This.
Closed it.
So this is the player scene. These things that are attached to it that make up the player are nodes.
Nodes make. Okay.
The hierarchy is scene is made up of a bunch of nodes. Now, the thing that gets a little confusing, the thing that's kind of confusing is nodes fundamentally, functionally are also scenes, but they're built in. Like they're most of them are like these are all built in to Godot. So, a collision-shaped node. A collision-shaped node defines the collision barriers for its parent. Okay, so player is so this node, the player node scene is called a character body 2D, which is a node. It's
Just keep going. I'll pick it up a minute. Don't
well, what's funny is like I'm also actively learning all this, so not like my description is gonna be perfect.
Just stare at you like an idiot.
I'll do a how-to video and half my how-tos will be wrong because I'm not explaining it right.
I mean,
yeah. Let's see, your player here, which is a character body 2D, which is an in-game or an in-engine built node. Which gives this node a bunch of properties. Specifically, it has this motion mode and up direction, floor, moving platform. Just a bunch. Yeah, that's all sausage to me too. Actually. And then I can give it a collision shape. I give it an area 2D, which is just an area I define around the player. Area 2Ds are required to have collision shapes because you need to define what area you want this to talk about. Correct.
Object.
Correct. Yeah, and that's all built in here too, but it's all under 3. There's an animated sprite, which is, as you'd expect, this is where I tell the engine what I want this thing to look like. And since it's animated, obviously, I have to define the animation, the frames.
And you
yeah, so I created all this. So all stuff I built. And obviously, the camera 2D is what defines the camera. The camera 2D is very simple. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and have like offsets. This is the camera is what makes it so I can only see. Right. So what I'm seeing now is the camera I defined for player.
Camera is node.
Yes. Camera is a node. For all intents and purposes, camera is a node. These are all nodes that make up the player scene.
It's organs.
In most other game engines, a scene would be called an object, but in Godot they call them scenes. Godot is very tree based. Everything is structured like a tree, right? So you have root with a bunch of nodes, right? And that make up the tree. And then obviously, and then another thing is oftentimes objects will have scripts, right? Code, which defines additional functionality that is not included in any of the nodes. It's also where I tell, for example, I talked about the area 2D. There's an area I defined around the player that's always listening for whatever I want it to listen. Or whenever I if I enter another object, another scene, if I do this, if I do that, whatever I define, it does that. It does what I tell it to, and I define, like, I tell it to do within code. Right? The player, for example, I handle input for the player. There's a inbuilt function called physics process. So this is built into Godot. Physics process. So everything that runs in this function, this function runs 60 times a second. When I first started learning how to do all this, like clear back in the day, this confused the hell out of me. When I first started taking an interest in Godot. But I'm just now kind of understanding a lot of this. So this is running. This is just running 60 times a second. Or ticks, or proper terminology. And all it's really doing is it's just checking to see if, are you holding the mouse down? If you're holding the mouse down, I want you to do this 60 times a second, right? And then it's setting variables, and it's checking if things are allowed to. If I'm allowed to do things. It sets the animation if this is doing this or this is doing this.
So this is like what you're. The scenes within scenes that are.
So, because of the tree-like structure, obviously the player needs a place to run around in. I mean, I can technically I can play this scene. I can say this is the play scene, just play this, but obviously it's not going to. There's nothing here for the player to do.
So you layer this.
So I create a map. Right? It's a good example.
Map.
Yeah.
Map is
a scene. Yeah. Scenes and objects are interchangeable. I just use them interchangeably. Sorry.
Are they the same?
Yes.
So I could call it a scene.
Since we're in Godot, we should probably call it scene because that's the correct terminology. But scenes and objects, for all intents and purposes, are the same thing. Just call them scenes. Obscene. Perfect. I love it. So obviously the player needs somewhere to run around in. So you make a map scene. A map scene needs visuals, right? So that's what the tile map layer is. Tile map layer is I basically pass it exactly what I pass it. I'll show you. Yes, it's so tiny. I'm trying to show you the entire. I'm trying to show you my art assets. Okay. I think I just show you the sprite. I just passed it this entire file. Right. I say, hey, here is. These are all the tiles for my game. And I tell the engine that, hey, I'm working in 8x8. And in the engine, I go into tile map layer here. It says tile size. I say it's 8x8. I basically just bring the file in, and I can just draw. I can just paint. Just paint your level, basically. I can build 8 gazillion doors. All right, and it works like
so how did you break it?
So I'll get to that in a second.
Well,
And it works like just like any other paint. I mean, I did a little more convoluted. I did a little more fancy things with like the fire and the water. Those are built a little differently. They're animated, right? But for all intents and purposes, the tile map layer node just defines what assets I'm using, how they're structured and set up. And since these two are childs of this one, like it's just how layers work. You have a ground layer above it, and I have a third layer above that. If I want to put like an apple on a table, right? The halo has to be below the apple, or else the apple's just going to be a big old square around it. So,
but
correct. It's just how it's nested. Yes, it's a little backwards. Okay, and this is where you have scenes within scenes, right? So I have the player scene it's called instantiation. I create a new player scene and put him into the game, into the map. Very obscene. And then I have a bunch of doors because doors have functionality. So I have a door scene that I instantiate. These are also scenes that I have built. And these are all built of the exact same things. They're all built of tile map layers, and they have their own associated code, and they all have their associated things about them, right? Now, I worded that poorly. I have a door scene. Right? These are all door scenes. I just renamed them to specify which door is which. But I have a door scene, right? This is the door scene. All right, and then I have sign scenes. Mention the same thing as doors and a note. That's the entire town. Now, the problem I ran into is I had it set up. I technically still works this way, actually. If I were just to go here and set this as the main scene. Main scene is the scene that gets run when you broke. Never mind. It doesn't work actually. Not gonna work right now. Fix this bug. God, access the property of key tile set.
What got broken?
Because I needed to create a main scene. It Yes. 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 Especially with the way I'm doing it. I feel like I'm starting to recognize the mistakes I've made. I should have made the main scene the very beginning. But instead I was treating the map scene as the main scene. Because you're supposed to have because the idea is what's quote unquote best practice, what so many people recommend you do, is you have like a main scene that just acts as like a controller for your game. Right? And it says, hey, everything that's happening in your game is going to run in this scene. Right? I was just running the map scene, right? And that was that. But UI elements don't work properly that way. So I was like, oh crap, I guess I need to make a main scene because I did some research and you should probably have a main scene for this.
What's different?
The main scene is all it is. It's just a layer up. So I have a main scene. Yeah, I have main scene at the very top, and then I have the map scenes as children. Yeah.
And then you have
Bingo. Have the main scene, and it's going to have the map. What map is currently in play, and it's going to have. It's supposed to have the player, but right now I'm hacking it. I'm doing it in a little hacky way where I have the player as a child of the map. Don't worry about that. And then I have the UI.
Like that.
And the UI is the reason I went through and made a main scene because it wasn't working the other way around. But now everything's broken.
Are you gonna? List?
It might just actually it probably wouldn't work because
Making things work.
no, this is good. It helps me try and explain things. I like talking things out because it helps me understand it a little better. Even
Unless
if
you're lying to me.
even if I'm not teaching it correctly.
It's kind of.
I mean, I'm pretty much just throwing a whole bunch of random information at you, so it's probably not that useful.
Not interested.
Right.
Sorry.
So the reason this one is such an issue for me is because this is what's breaking is probably the thing I understand least about my own code, about and why it works and how it's working the way it works, which is player movement and how the player transitions around maps. The code I have set up works. I don't understand the best why it works. So I sit there and I try and go through my code and I'm like, I don't get it. Right, and it has to do with all the weird pathfinding script I set up.
You wanna rubber duck it with me?
I don't know if I could. Just if you give me a sec, I can probably figure something.
Take it on your to-do.
It's on like 12 other to-do lists somewhere in the list. I don't know if I'm gonna have time anyway. I know we kind of went on a tangent. I guess it's probably good to kind of get you familiarized with the editor. Third. Happening here. So on ready, we have the tile map layer. Storage implicit.
Tell me what it means.
Not finding something. It's not. It's struggling. It can't find.
Player. Why?
Run or is this not? Runs. That's weird. Oh no, yeah. It's gonna. As soon as I open this door, it should break.
Break it.
For the same reason. Invalid access property. Because these are all being. It's looking for something. It's trying to find something, right? It's like, hey, I need a source ID. I need atlas coordinates. I need a tile source. Where are they at? I'm getting nothing.
What door did you click on?
I don't know. It's the door to Mistwood. It's specifically this is what's breaking.
But is it this that's breaking or is it?
It's not the door. The doors are 100% working. I know, yeah, because I know the issue isn't related to the doors. The issue is related to. It's weird to explain because the issue is is with character movement. Doesn't make sense because the character moves just fine, right? But I need to set up. What happens is I need to set up my pathfinding grid on the map. Right?
So it doesn't know where to dump you when you play fun?
It doesn't know where to dump me, and it doesn't know it doesn't find anything to dump me into.
Why?
That right there is the issue I'm trying to just give me a second. I'll figure it. I'll figure something out. I don't have the answer yet. Is the
I want to know what happened.
the door code is all that's happening.
Like, do you really only have one door back to Mistwood, or do you?
Every door to
single-
Mistwood's gonna break. But I think what I could test is if I go to the player. Is it the player home? I think the player home has it. This is the main scene. This should run just fine. All the interiors work fine, and I should go into here. This is a door.
Yes.
This is a door. This is functionally a door. This works just fine. It changes scenes into a different door.
But that door doesn't.
If I were to goodbye. If I were to instead put Mistwood here as a child, right, and then I need to grab the player, and the player needs to be a child. Why?
Where's the use? Their game?
No. Oh wait, it's probably because.
Hey, but if you're understanding what's happening,
It's because
you need to explain
wait,
it.
wait,
because
wait.
Me and every other ding dong wants to watch you yearning for the answers.
No one
You're
wants.
just like, oh wait.
No one
wait,
wants
and
to
then
watch
it'll
me
be
do
fixed.
this. Wait.
That's the whole.
Wait.
Don't say, oh wait.
Wait.
Tell me what's happening.
What? No! Why did it go here? Hold on, I gotta set Mistwood as the main scene. Will it break? It still breaks. Damn.
Tell me why. Tell me what's happening.
For a second, I thought the issue might have been that I had player. So I have the main scene, right? Big fancy controller scene.
Game scene.
Right? And I thought for a second I might be able to. That part of the problem might have been that I was trying to instantiate two players.
Oh.
Because Mistwood had a player scene in Mistwood, right? So I was like, maybe it's having an issue there.
Can't be in two places at once.
Yeah, but that's an error too.
What do you think?
Well, that's hold on. There actually is something that's
Why is it only...
Mistwood. Now I'm getting tripped up. Mistwood should be working if I run it this way. So there is a different issue. So the error is right here. So this line of code is what fails. Tile set equals tile map.
Why? What was the their child team specifically for this, or it doesn't?
You're talking about in main when I made player a child of this instead of main?
Yeah.
The reason is because so player needs a ground to run on. The way I have collision set up is I have something called A star pathfinding, which is an algorithm that says, hey, I'm going to define the closest way to get from point A to point B. It's just an algorithm that just finds the closest path from point A to point B, right, on a grid. This is a grid. I'm thinking about getting rid of all this, honestly. This is originally a grid-based game, so the player moves on a grid.
Yes.
So the reason I have to make player a child of Mistwood is because the logic that player uses or the map information that player uses build to figure out
See if the
the.
map always.
It's not a layering issue though.
Well,
It's what's it called when you have a
see you highlighting things. I can help
this
you.
this it's the what do you call this, the where you directory, it's a directory issue.
Okay, well, explain this to me. But, you have your game scene at full entire,
Mhm.
and your character is the other always character whole game. Crucial part of the scene. But the maps are always changing and the layers are always changing. I'm curious why you don't have the player being a child of that. I don't know why you would have multiple player entities coming out scene. Is that,
I
am I
don't
understanding that correctly?
I don't understand the question.
Are player 2 right here and are those technically the same level of the directory, or does the player always come nested?
The way for me to get it to work right now, player needs to be nested in the map.
That's
Maybe if I do it this way, I set main as main scene. I gotta get rid of it. Something else is wrong with Mistwood. I don't know what happened to Mistwood. If I do it this way and I instantiate instead back to the Firefly scene. All right, so these are the player's no longer a child of the map. Player is a
yes.
child of the main. It's gonna break because there's not a tile map layer in this scene.
What do you mean there's not?
So I need to tell player where the tile map layer is. Yes? Where is the tile map layer? In here. In the map. I can get access to it by making it a child of it.
Isn't that
Yes, that's just how I was
what's
doing.
the other
Why
one?
is it doing this now? I'm not having. I was afraid to touch all this because I know this was going to cause all these issues.
Well, I know, but now I'm engaged and I see that this is a problem. I want you to fix it. What's the not cheaty way to fix it?
I don't know. I mean, if I knew that, I would just do it.
Do it.
Let me step back for a minute. Let me think. Player.
Okay.
It's supposed to be main, and you have a player, you have a map, and you have the UI. Does this run? It does run, but it puts me here, and I get a few errors. Implicit node not found, tile map layer. It's not finding the tile map. Brood, no. You. Huh? No, I'm enjoying this. No, it's good. I mean, maybe that should be my big task today, just friggin' re-implement movement. So I can just WASD or click to move and then you have regular collisions instead of this whole pathfinding nonsense. Alright, why is player spawning? So Firefly test map. There's not a player. I need to tell player. I need to tell what? Player? Player have any export variables? I don't think so. Test map have any export variables? It shouldn't. What's the reason it's not spawning where it needs to is I need to tell something where to throw the player. Think no. Maybe maybe I could set it up that way. Maybe would have to pass that information to the this is
I'm gonna make it worse. Can you please? Hey, one click door, open map. What the answers?
normally you could, and normally I could. Normally you're supposed to just be able to just do exactly that. Say, hey, spawn at these coordinates, and that's kind of what I do. The problem is the pathfinding algorithm. You have your regular tile map layer with its fancy grid, right? And it's 8 by 8 tiles and everything's hunky dory. Normally, I should just be able to run along that and everything would be fine. But you have to have pathfinding for the grid-based system to work, right? Because what the pathfinding algorithm does is it breaks the map up. They're 8 by 8 squares.
But we're getting rid of that.
And that's on top. And getting these two things to communicate is really hard.
What happens if you get rid of it?
Nothing. I'd have to. I think the biggest issue is going to have to be re-implementing collisions. Originally, I wanted it because I like the idea of the initial goal with all this was to have like the grid based system. I like the grid based idea, and I liked the idea of implementing it in combat as well. Combat was like a grid based combat system. Do you remember the game Banner Saga? Or Final Fantasy Tactics was that way as well. No, Banner Saga makes more sense because it actually visualizes the
Okay.
yeah, kind of right. So it's so basically the floor is a grid.
Floor is lava.
Right, and when I have this player here, and let's say I want to move him to this square here, it needs to run some sort of algorithm to say, okay, how do I get from here to here? Right, what's the quickest way?
This is turn-based.
What obstacle? Yeah, so the original idea was also turn-based, but now it's not.
So is there any like?
It's not. Doesn't break, or it didn't break.
Well, it's broken now. So is there any benefit to keeping the grid? Marie Kondo your game. Is there any benefit?
It's gonna be a huge pain in the butt because I'm gonna have to reset up collisions for everything.
But it's here.
Well,
buggy and
the thing is it really wouldn't need pathfinding because I'd probably use the inbuilt player movement functionality.
Broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so out. Get the need. Just get better. Give me at least like one answer. I could have just dopamine.
No, it's good. What do you think? Throw that air. Puts me up here because it doesn't know where to put. The only function, so that might be part of the problem. So yeah, see this right here is no, the programming language in Godot is called GD script.
Oh, damn script.
It's like these lines, like not specifically these lines of code, but all the code it does like local to map. That's all the code that's giving me issues. I guarantee it. Because it's mapping the A star grid to the tile map layer, but it has to be still has to be separate, and it's just
Get rid of it.
all right, you look up. I need you to get on your phone then. I need you to look up. I need to do this in an isolated environment. I'm gonna have the player script. Let's just get the I'm just get the player running again. All right, so I'm just gonna get rid of all the code. Pain in the ass.
I like how you started it.
We didn't even start doing it.
Like, how about you everything? Because I don't.
Yeah. Wait, really? Is it like a lighter red? I is your ladybug still alive? Just a boolean. Basic. So make sure you specify Godot 4.4 or just 4.x. 4.4 is the most recent. Godot 4.4, just like a basic, like to move for 2D. Click to move slash click and hold to move. I don't know. I think I might the docs here might be enough for me.
And I'm like,
Get
be good.
global mouse position, I imagine.
about this.
Smooth move mouse click 4.4. Only 2 minutes, perfect. Just skip to the code. So they use unready target position.
This is,
I'm gonna start using like vector twos now and all that.
but that's good because you
You know, I don't know why, but I just love the idea of. It seems fun. I like this. So this is the player script. So since here's body, so we're setting a. This is just a random number. So as soon as player gets called, as soon as player exists, we set a target variable position to vector two. Vector two is just x and a y. Sorry. Okay. Setting equal to global position is in this case is global position a. I think it is. It's an inbuilt variable. So this variable is a Godot inbuilt Godot variable. Right? Target position is something he defines. Global position is built into the engine. Var movement tween. So there's some sort of animation for the movement. Is that it? No, no. What? Get the tweening and all that. Hold on, let me look. So this, the velocity, this right here is probably what I'm needing. I just need, wait, can you go back actually? If event is in, if event is mass event and event mass and target position equals it. Does it short in game? Does he play the game? Can you click towards the end? It doesn't even show it running in game. I don't trust that one, to be honest. I think so for the player, I'm just going to start commenting out all the scripts associated with the original movement. Oh dang, got my first another comment, babe. Best viewers on boostking.ru. Definitely clicking that link. I think this code's important. This code I'm gonna have to do so this all this code here. Separate it. You outcome. This I'm just Mouse held. I'll just pass. Current ID path is empty. We're not going to have an ID path anymore. Var target position equals that anymore. Oh. Player can move global position equals global position dot move towards. So maybe what I could try, because I do get the mouse. I need to get the mouse location. Can you look up a go get mouse position?
Yeah, viewport?
No.
Global mouse. What is it?
Get global
This
mouse
function
position.
return.
Move towards needs a vector 2, yeah.
But this is just
Get viewport dot get global mouse. Probably. Hold on. Variable mouse pause equals get global mouse position. If can move global position equals global position dot move towards. Instead of target position, I pass in the mouse pause. Speed. This can go away. Direction doesn't exist anymore. Direction, could I set that equal to mouse pause dot x, mouse pause dot y? Oh wait, that should actually work. If global position does not equal or for not mouse position equals mouse pause. Current ID path dot pop front. There shouldn't be an ID path anymore. Where's ID path being called from? Mouse. I would do. Print something. Print made it to location. Okay. So
educate me.
the variable called mouse pause that equal to wherever the location is on the map. Global position equals global position dot move to. I need to give it the event first, actually. What happens when I even run? Oh wait, no.
It's just rude.
I need to set the player as the main scene. Yeah, I need a. Yeah. So that's a start. Where is player scene? This is how I'm going to have to do it. Non-map layer. It's not good.
Hmm.
Okay. We're going to give this a simple block to run around in. Set up just some basic obstacle testing. Okay. So what I have so far. He's colliding with ground right now for some reason. Tile set. No. Yeah, I did it a different one. Well, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Figure out how to collect.
Vision is close.
In this sense, in this sense, the collisions are. I don't want the player to be able to move through walls and stuff, right? Obviously, if there's a wall, I want the player to not be able to move past the wall. Reset up. You give them collisions. If this collidable object touches this collidable object, do not allow movement between these two. Yeah, because the way I did collisions earlier is a lot different.
You want to do that?
Oh, it's too late now. We're in the fire now.
But will your
I don't know.
oh
I don't know.
oh good luck. But is it on?
Oh. Take it here. There's not a subject to unactivated tiles in this atlas. Okay. Then
Rectamundo?
no, because I'm gonna need to figure out a few other things. They are just 8x8. Extra region, maybe 8. 9. That work? Here we go, that worked. You can search that for me.
Yeah.
Tile map layer. Collisions. Atlas texture. Atlas, A-T-L-A-S. Atlas.
Oh. Word?
Yeah, tile map layers won't work. The node.
And I'm looking for code, or I'm getting
Probably description. Create tile set, creator load atlas texture, scroll. For each tile that needs collision, select it in the tile set, find a collision shape. Okay, this.
I'm wanting to because
That's what's happening. I think I've. It doesn't tell. It doesn't even tell me how to do it though. Is the problem?
me what
Time map layer is a node where I drop in the assets. I need to figure out how to add collision to each of the tiles. I don't remember doing it before. I've just gotten
collision. Open the tile.
Make sure it does it say tile map or tile map layer? Specifically needs to be tile map layer. Tile maps were deprecated in prior versions of Godot. So they do not exist.
Collision. Tile map. Good. Oh, see. First open tiles.
Done. Done.
Down to the tile. It's open right there. Physics.
I know, but where's what you asked for?
I haven't asked for anything else yet. No. It says add physics layer. Access the properties panel. Single layer. Haven't already. New physics layer. Add element.
That's what you asked.
What's in the
This?
Oh. Oh. Oh.
This is collision visibility mode. Hold on, I think I found it. There's an element up here. Add element.
Okay. You've added a layer. It says define collision shape. Use the tools within physics. Draw or define. Set. What's under the station? So
Like, this is how
So
layering is
tell
going
me
to work.
what collision.
I'm guessing. I don't know else I've done this. I'm guessing. I'm like 70% sure that the way to do this isn't through this. There's a way to like you physically draw the boundaries in this editor here. This little. I remember doing this. Property editor. So if I set a property editor, maybe if I did the physics 0, I can draw them here. Right, and then what you do is you're just gonna I think I can do it with the physics layer. I think if we're going to do it with the physics layer, though, I'm going to need to think about how to layer things in the game world, though, because I feel like it's going to have issues if I try and overlay a collidable table with a collidable apple with a collidable worm or whatever.
But you're not doing it.
But my maps are already built that in that way, right? So obviously with Mistwood, for example, if I give, for example, I'm going to be drawing. So if I draw a collidable shape around this barrel, or whatever this is,
Okay.
okay, meaning this cannot be collided with.
But
All right.
oh, no bunks.
Okay. But in the game, I have an apple that sits on top of this.
Wouldn't that just be a different?
The problem with that is then you'd have to redraw. You'd have to draw like a million more aspects.
Are you implying? It's just
right now. The ones I have right now are just decorative, I think.
so it doesn't matter.
It does matter because if I have right, but if I have a desk or a box crate,
yeah,
and I put a apple on top of it,
yeah,
if the apple is collidable, the box is collidable. You can't put a collidable box on top of or a collidable apple on top of a collidable box.
Just when you draw the map.
Well, you can, but I think this is where physics layers is going. This is where the layers is going to come into play, right? So everything on one, including the player, because I'm going to need to define this. I'm going to need to go through and define this for all my objects now.
Because
correct. So every object is going to need to be on some sort of layer, or it's going to need to be like
priority.
So if I have the players collision layers 1, 2, and 3, any other objects in the game that are on physics layers 1, 2, and 3, the player will collide with. I can set it up in a way where I put the apple on top of the crate and just have them on separate layers. Should be fine, I think. I just want to plan it out before I assume that it's going to work, and then do all the extra work to make it see if it works, and then realize it doesn't work.
So, is there something then that you would rather? Seriously, for
I know what to do. I think I can do this in a way. Can you look up? I should still be able to define custom data layers. This one already is this added already? Hold on. Walkable. No, okay. We're fine. Hold on. We're good. I'm going to define custom data layers. I created this last time. All I did was I just created a Boolean variable called walkable.
Boolean.
And every tile that I tick will be walkable. And it should already be set up. This is already in place. I just need to figure out, so now I'm going to need to access this programmatically.
Programmer?
Via code.
I'm really lost.
Nope, I can't. Not at the moment. Legends are not working right now. They should be working. Need to test this environment. Because he's running, he's moving, and he's still following the mouse, which is good. He changes directions. That's good. He's not moving because he's obviously stuck. Is it because his animated sprite 2D? Because he's data tile. Tile map layer dot get cell tile data tile. Oh wait. This can move. It's
What is it? Are you producing code?
struggling here. Talk you through it. I don't even. Can move. Global position equals global position that move towards mouse pause speed. You figure out why is it he's colliding with
Probably. Me.
Just a quick beta test. There, now he's nothing to collide with. He's not even moving, so the problem isn't that he's colliding. The problem is that he's not even moving.
Gave him.
He has a global position, so if can move. Directions rated. Velocity, maybe.
Or be Googling somebody.
The problem is I don't know to start Googling here. Oh, something in there. I'm just gonna look up a play movement script. Player movement script mouse. In the physics process, click position. Position equals data. I got that already. I guess I should probably set this. The movement. Okay. I had 3 viewers on YouTube. I can't. He puts this in the that here.
He puts it here.
If input is action, just press move. Action is just press move. No, I don't think so. I think this.
No.
I just want to know why it does greater than 3.
Okay.
It's position dot click position mouse greater than.
What did you
Need to clear so I don't pick up item flu. Vector 2. Position. Take global mouse position. 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 Is indented. Should I show me something?
take it?
Target positions also move after R. Vector 2. Okay. Target position. Holds position. Speed and then move and speed is not declared variable. Export bar speed. We'll set it equal to, I think. I was going to change with this rework, but just skip 2.0. Mouse pause is not, so this should be position. Speed working. Oh my god, this is such a pain. It's ready function. We have which position. Regret everything.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is such a bare minimum. There's no reason this shouldn't work.
And everything else on your bait or your game.
There, use it. Hey, I'm muted. If input is position 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 Why doesn't that work for me? Why doesn't that work for me?
Hmm.
I'm at a loss here. I don't understand. Position. No. Good to me. Perfect position. Fiction. Three. Vector 2. At all. After that.
Would it be appealing?
I don't know how to do this is the problem. Know what I'm reading out I do right now. I cannot really walk you through anything. I saved all the code, but unfortunately.
Have to.
I don't know if I can live stream without getting reached. That works. So if I would, I would just put headphones on and then block the desktop audio.
Yes, ma'am. Workout. Steam.
Yeah, I know they have one for the shorts. Specify you use those shorts, just the audio tracks was safely. Vehicle position. Definitely a character body 2D, so I should. Oh. You can take it on it. Already. Frustrating as a note screen, so stupid when I finally figure out what it is. I guess.
So the children,
Mm-hmm.
they allow.
Directory a little better. Pathetic mess. What?
Ah,
Oh. Oh, I know it. Uh, okay. Yeah, so that's why I have not been playing with any of that.
okay.
I'm gonna hold off. I will figure that out later. I can't deal with that. That's flipping mess. That being said, I do want to figure out why Mist would stop work. There is a player instantiated there already. Can I just that his main scene? Because the player was okay. Inside access to property or key tile set on a base object null instance. No, but I can. Okay. I think it's because I'm not. Yeah, I can get you that information. Dot slash so just be it didn't be in the parent. Be this. I want to figure out why I broke this. I don't know what I did.
For me.
No, actually, I think I broke this with the whole main scene thing. But it doesn't make sense why houses in Mist would work just fine, but again with break. Interactables with breaks? What? No, it's not interactable, which
Well,
funny. Right all on doors. Tile set. Out. How do I? Not call method get source value. Wait a minute.
Knit.
Did all this get thrown in here for some reason? I didn't need any of this.
What was it? What?
I think this block of code must have got copied in here at some point in time by accident. I don't need any of that.
Well, there you go then.
They still work, right? Look at that. Boom. Boom. Up 3 viewers. Do you think people actually watching? Apparently, we still have 3 viewers. Are you watching? On yours? 1 additional person. Hello, person. All right. You liked a little better about that. I fixed all that. Well, that being said, then I wonder if go back to main here. Let's delete this test map. I go to main. And I set up. Throw in Mistwood here. Get rid of the player reference in Mistwood. Main. Main. Scene. So it loads in. I just need to set the spawn vector.
Yeah.
How would I don't know how to do that. I need to set player location. Would I do that in main?
Hey.
Break completely? No. It does throw an error. The time player not found in scene and the little fat flying tile map is null. So I don't think it's gonna allow movement. Fortunate. Does that throw that error if I make it a child of map? It is okay. Hey. Look at that.
You've done it.
Sort of. If I make him a parent of just main, Still load in, but I don't think movement will work, yeah. Not yet. Need some? Yeah, okay. We broke it. I fixed it back up. It's fine now. Everything's okay. What do we get done? Not a thing. Um, this error. They'll enter in. Boom. I need to set up just a parent thing. It's references to player and all these little other houses. And every single bill. Reading them.
Oh.
So it throws an error, and it's like, hey, there's already a parent thing called player in here. What's going on? There. Um.
So tell me what you are.
I have no clue. Right now, right now my goal is to get it working, functional. For hearts, I mean, it could be hearts, it could be whatever. I'm open to any possibility. I have hearts.
Flowers?
I have hearts right now because it's easy. There. They're not in yet, but I have the asset for them. But right now I'm just like, okay, we'll have a few hearts up here at the top, very standard. Player gets hit, one heart goes black, or goes empty. Something happens, and equipment bar. This is for your item hotbar. I don't, since this game is supposed to be small, I don't think I'm gonna have it set up in a way where it's like you can drag and drop whatever item you want and whatever hotbar item you want. It's too much. I think what I might just end up doing is once you pick up the sword's gonna go in slot 1, and it's just gonna be a progression based there. Since the sword is gonna be the first thing you get, the sword will populate the first box. Loot will populate the second box, and maybe 2 or 3 other items. I'm going to keep it simple. Only a few items just for basic functionality and get those working good. And then maybe what I'll end up doing is I might have like a simple mass inventory for like notes. So like a note mechanic where you can read notes and stuff. I imagine you'll pick up the notes and I can read them. And I have gold or money. I don't know if I'm gonna use it or not. I have this. Well, I have decided that I'm going to. So the shopkeep, let me give you a little lore on the shopkeep, okay? So I thought I'd put some thought into this. So shopkeep is one of the mycelium races that I've been fleshing out, one that you and I kind of worked on together. So the shopkeep here is going to be one of those types. And mycelium man works with other mycelium in the area to communicate with trees. Yes. Tree. At some point in the game, you're going to come across. At some point in the game, you're going to come across the great tree. A bunch of mice with a bunch of mycelium around. Mycelium will communicate with the tree when you approach the tree. The tree will give you items. I'll explain the mechanic a little bit more in detail later. But... Oh, that's for later down the road, though. Right now, it's going to be sword mechanic, flute mechanic, roll mechanic, maybe. I haven't decided. Yeah, and like rolling around. Yeah, that would be the idea, like a little dodge mechanic where you press space and go out of the way. Maybe like a stamina bar that depletes when you. Oh, UI elements. I will need a UI element for the flute. Or maybe the only maybe I won't need a like a bar or anything. Maybe the UI element will just be the firefly taking damage in a way, or maybe. Well, I'm talking about like a UI element to show how much charge the firefly has. I don't know if it needs it though. I don't think it does. I think leaving that blank would be fine.
I don't know if it's like super. Over.
Does sound still work? Oh, beans. Guess I'll just sign logic back up because of it. Do they inherit from interactable still? Remember. They do. So they just need a dialogue ID. I can create that in Dialogic. Because same thing, it'll be such and such home, and it's fine. How are you guys going?